Step right into the heart-pounding world of Uncanny X-Men, 2024, number 2, where the stakes have never been higher. Rogue, Gambit, and Wolverine find themselves face-to-face with a new breed of mutants that are unlike anything you've seen before. Picture this, the Louisiana swamps, thick with humidity and tension, as three of the X-Men's fiercest warriors clash with the raw, untamed power of the next generation. Calico, Deathstream, Jitter, and Ransom, these are not just names, but a new era of mutant kind ready to challenge the old guard. Calico, also known as Becca Constance Simon Panette, commands her horse, Ember, with a psychic bond so strong, it reshapes reality around them. Jitter, or Sophia Yon, flashes into action, borrowing skills and powers in the blink of an eye, but at a cost. She's a force of nature, unpredictable and explosive. But it's Deathstream, Hotaru, who brings the true chill to this swampy showdown. Imagine Wolverine, the ultimate survivor, suddenly surrounded by spirits summoned from the very edge of death itself. Deathstream's connection to the afterlife turns the tide in ways Logan never expected. Meanwhile, back at the X-Mansion, now a grim prison, Dr. Karina Ellis, cold and calculating, confronts her captive, Siren, with an intensity that crackles through the darkened corridors. With Captain Ezra by her side, Dr. Ellis prowls the hallways, her every step echoing with the weight of the fallen Krakoa. Gail Simone's writing pulses with raw energy, while David Marquez's art brings every clash, every breath, and every glance to vivid life. As you turn the pages, you can almost hear the clash of powers, feel the oppressive heat of the Louisiana swamps, and sense the looming danger as the X-Men grapple with a future that's slipping through their fingers. Do Rogue, Gambit, and Wolverine have what it takes to protect Mutantkin's legacy in this harsh, post-Krakoa world? Or are these new mutants the harbingers of an era where the old ways are torn apart? Find out in Uncanny X-Men number 2. On sale September 11. Dive into this issue to experience the thrill, the fear, and the hope that defines the X-Men, and meet the new mutants who might just change everything. Don't miss out. Grab your copy from your local comic book shop or redeem your digital copy on the Marvel Unlimited app. This issue is one for the history books, a must-read that promises to shake the foundations of the X-Men universe. Ready to see what happens when the old and new collide? The future of mutant kind awaits, and it's wilder than you can imagine. Meanwhile, Marvel's Ultimate Universe is roaring into November 2024. And trust me, you don't want to miss a single beat. Here's what's headed your way. First up, Ultimate Black Cat is finally stepping into the spotlight, and the tension is thicker than ever. As her story unfolds, you'll see the Ultimates gearing up for an epic clash with the Hulk, and believe me, it's going to be a battle for the ages. Meanwhile, the secrets surrounding mutants in this universe are about to get even murkier. And if you thought Wakanda was handling things solo, think again, they're about to get some unexpected backup in their war against Khonshu's forces. Speaking of Wakanda, Ultimate Black Panther number 10. Written by Brian Hill. Art by Stefano Caselli. Black Panther's world is about to get a lot stranger. There's a prison break in Wakanda, and a mysterious ally shows up out of nowhere. But here's the catch, can this newcomer be trusted? Or is Moon Knight's divine intervention about to tip the scales in a way no one saw coming? Now, hold on to your seat for this one. Ultimates number 6. Written by Denise Camp. Art by Juan Frigery. The Ultimates are assembling for a showdown you won't forget. For the first time, the entire roster unites, and it's all leading up to a heart-pounding finale. Iron Lance got a master plan to take down the Hulk, who's become the most dangerous member of the Maker's Council. But here's the kicker, this plan might have just put the Ultimates in way over their heads. And just when you thought things couldn't get crazier. Ultimate Spider-Man number 11. Written by Jonathan Hickman. Art by David Messina. Who's the new player in town? Tensions between Spider-Man and Green Goblin are reaching a boiling point, and now, a new villain enters the scene. The Ultimate Black Cat makes her debut. But what's her connection to Kingpin's Sinister Six? David Messina's art will have you glued to every panel as this mystery unravels. Last but definitely not least, Ultimate X-Men number 9. Written and illustrated by Peach Momoko. It's a lightning-charged showdown like no other. Maystorm and Surge are finally facing off, and the sparks are literally flying. But things take a turn when Surge finds herself drained of her powers. Curiosity gets the better of Maystorm, leading her to dive into the mysterious cult Surge is tied to, and this might just unravel everything we know about the mutants in the Ultimate Universe. November's going to be one wild ride. You ready? Alright, let's get real about Hal Jordan. Green Lantern, back in action, doesn't just bring Hal Jordan back down to earth, it brings him back into the spotlight where he belongs. Let me start by saying, I owe Hal an apology. I used to be a die-hard Hal Jordan hater. Growing up, the Justice League animated series turned me into a lifelong Jon Stewart fan. Is still Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams' Green Lantern / Green Arrow. That comic gave us a raw, unfiltered look at Hal Jordan, his politics, and frankly, I wasn't impressed. But then, Green Lantern, back in action by Jeremy Adams, Zermanico, and Romulo Fajardo Jr. came along, and I finally saw the light. Hal Jordan is a great guy. Now, don't get me wrong, he's still not the greatest Green Lantern, the title stays with Jon Stewart. But that's exactly why Hal works so well right now. Hal Jordan loves to play the part of a confident flyboy, but deep down, he's kind of a mess. Back in Action picks up after the catastrophic destruction of OA and the Guardians, you know, those little blue guys running the Green Lantern Corps, leaving Hal grounded on Earth. He's living out of a trailer with Kilowog, riding around on his motorcycle, and desperately trying to convince his ex, Carol Ferris, to let him fly fighter jets again. But things take a sharp turn when the United Planets declares Sector 2814, the part of space where Earth sits, under quarantine. And just when you think Hal's hit rock bottom, Fail Sinestro, his former mentor turned nemesis, shows up on Earth, demanding Hal hand over his lantern ring. Back in Action isn't just about big battles and flashy powers. It's also about confronting fears, literally. This story includes the two Night Terrors, Green Lantern issues where Hal must face down his deepest, darkest fears. And let me tell you, it's a wild ride. The team behind this masterpiece? Jeremy Adams, Zermanico, and Romulo Fajardo Jr. If you thought they killed it on Flashpoint Beyond, you're in for a treat. Zermanico's art is nothing short of spectacular. His range is insane, whether it's ghouls, African wildlife, fighter jets, or massive explosions, Zermanico handles it all with finesse. But it's not just about the action. He nails the softer moments too, like Hal trying to win Carol's affection back. If you've never read a comic with his art, prepare to be blown away. And let's not forget about Jeremy Adams. He's a mainstay at DC these days, and for good reason. His run on The Flash was all about building the Flash family, making them one of the most beloved groups in DC Comics. But what he does with Hal Jordan in Back in Action, he works some serious magic. Adams doesn't write Hal as the greatest Green Lantern ever, burdened by his reputation. He writes Hal as a down-to-earth guy who just loves the thrill of flying, and suddenly, it all makes sense. If you've ever watched Top Gun and wished you could feel the wind in your hair without actually getting on a motorcycle, this is the book for you. Pop on your favorite 80s action movie soundtrack, because Back in Action is going to take you on a wild ride. But it's not just about the big moments. Hal's creativity with his lantern ring is on full display, even when he's not in battle. There's this one scene where he helps a kid hit a home run for the first time, and it completely changed my opinion of him. It made me see his humanity, and I think it'll do the same for you. And Kilowog? Yeah, everyone's favorite Puzzer shows up to support Hal during this rough patch. Who wouldn't want to crack open a soda with Kilowog? Oh, and did I mention there's a mecha and kaiju battle? That's all I'm going to say about that. Hal Jordan has been through the ringer. He was once the main Green Lantern, then his home city was wiped out, and he got infected with an evil parasite that gave him godlike delusions of grandeur. He went on a wild ride as Parallax, became the Abrahamic avatar of vengeance, and finally made his way back to the land of the living. The dude's lived a life, to say the least. In Green Lantern, Back in Action, we get to see Hal as just a regular guy, a thrill-seeker with a big heart and an even bigger capacity for wonder. Whatever your feelings toward Hal, this story will pull you right in. Reading Adams and Zermanico's take on Hal Jordan, I finally got it. I saw Hal eye to eye. Maybe you will too. Green Lantern, Back in Action by Jeremy Adams, Zermanico, and Romulo Fajardo Jr. is available now in bookstores, comic shops, libraries, and digital retailers. You can also read it in full on DC Universe Infinite.